If it looks good, eat it. And it all looks good to me. I'm a chef, a food critic, and dining columnist who believes the best way to experience a culture is by digging a little deeper for your dinner, no matter how strange or where you find it. I tend to stray far from the predictable culinary path, sampling tidbits that might seem a little bizarre to the average set of taste buds. Tonight,
putrid meat with eggs. I love it.
A full plate of North African specialties in the mysterious and tantalizing country of Morocco. I'm Andrew Zimmern, and this is Bizarre Foods. Morocco may be on the continent of Africa, but its culture reflects a mix of European and Mediterranean influences. Unique in the Muslim world, this is a country that embraces its Berber history, along with a mid-century reputation as a jet-set destination. Winston Churchill called it the loveliest spot in the entire world, and it has become a natural backdrop for many a modern movie. One of Morocco's most famous cities is Marrakesh, defined simply as mysterious and exotic. So my journey begins here, at the center of Marrakesh, in the famed Jemaa El Fna, the public square that is the soul of the city, once home to a great empire. History repeats itself every evening here when the sun sets and the square transforms into a hub of activity and destination for local cuisine. It's the reason I'm here. At 5 p.m. on the dot, hundreds of food vendors converge onto the square, hauling and setting up their portable restaurants.
And 2 hours later, Shazam! This is the Jemaa El Fna, packed wall to wall with hundreds of the most outrageous food vendors you've ever come across.
And the open-air carnival surrounding them is already in full swing. There are countless snake charmers.
One of the 4 most deadly snakes in the world, and there's not a good grill anywhere in sight. If you mess with me, I'll eat you.
For a few dirham, vendors will adorn you with any number of creatures. For a few dirham more, they might even remove them.
Let him.
Get this, there are even walk-up dentists who will pull your teeth on site. Oh boy.
I trust him implicitly. Go ahead.
Back to the real reason I'm here, the food. I follow my nose to a place I dubbed Lamb Alley in the corner of the Jemaa. They have a unique setup here. On one end, the more well-off customer can buy pieces of whole roasted lamb called mashwi. And as you go down the line, stand by stand, you'll find lesser quality cuts of meat, ending with a vendor that sells only a soup made with the bones. I've decided to start with the best cut of all, the mashwi, a treasured delicacy in Morocco.
Look at that. Mashwi, cooked vertical inside a deep clay pit. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Oh. Now, we're lucky enough to be the very first in line for this first lamb that came out of the oven, so he's given me literally the best bite on the whole lamb. Oh. That's really good. You just season it with a little bit of cumin salt. Spectacular. Now, so that they didn't burn, he puts the shank bones inside the carcass so that he can serve those to someone who likes the tendons from down near the front of the ankle. If they were left on the animal itself, they'd dry out and burn and not be servable. Spectacular. And notice that he's giving me some from the leg, some from the chop, and maybe some from the shoulder or neck.
My order is taken to a little food court where diners can sit and enjoy their meal. It's my first taste of Morocco and well worth the wait.
Oh, I don't even know where to begin. Fabulous knuckles, the breast, the luxury cuts. For those of you who have never tried this incredible delicacy. There's no better way to eat lamb than roasted whole. It's smoky, it's rich, it's addictively greasy.
That was great. But as I wander back to Lamb Alley, I discover a different stall and specialty, the sheep's head. And I mean the whole head.
They're steamed to make them tender. The skin is peeled off the face, and then they cut up all the delicious little bits that are inside there. Now, he's just given me a little piece of the ear fat, which, again, like the gentleman that handed me that best little taste off the whole mashwi, this is generally considered to be the best part of the head, and you know that you're an honored guest in a food stall in Lamb Alley when you get the first little piece of fatty, gelatinous, roasted lamb's head ear. Thank you. That's as gelatinous and fatty as I imagined it would be, but smoky and very, very good. Super. Now he's peeling away the skin in the face. And there are all the goodies. Yeah. Merci, merci. My favorite bite on the whole head is the little cheek. A little bit of this, a little bit of the seasoned salt. Cheers. Very good.
For those of you out there wondering how much of a head can you actually eat, well, as you can see, the answer is the whole thing. The lamb's tongue may look tough, but once you unwrap the papery covering, the meat inside is really tender.
There is another delicacy in here that most people choose to pass up, but not me. Come on over and you'll see what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can get that little bad boy out of there.
And by bad boy, I mean eyeball. Ready for this?
Cheers. I'm watching you. That's good. All of the flavors of the lamb have sort of concentrated and pooled into this one globby, fatty, tissuey substance. And let's say you just threw it into your mouth, you would have the experience that I have. There is no words on earth that can describe the texture of a roasted lamb's eyeball to you. But let me just tell you, it was the essence of the barnyard. After tossing down an ear, a cheek, some neck, and a roasted eyeball here in Lamb Alley, and I can tell you this for sure, this is the best tasting cup of tea I've ever had.
That eye-opening experience was just the beginning of what's to come. Stuffed pancreas, anyone?
Words fail me at a time like this.
My culinary tour of Morocco continues as I seek out everything from the practical to the bizarre in this meat lover's paradise.
Oh, look at this. The lamb's tongue. Cheers. Oh.
I've yet to sample the other food stalls in the Jama, but as I start to wander the labyrinth-like streets that surround the square, I realize the Jama is only the tip of the iceberg.
Wow. Beautiful. This is the souk, or marketplace, just off the Medina in Marrakesh, Morocco. And it's the oldest and largest in all of the country. In its thousands of meters of back alleys and teeny little squares, they're bursting at the seams with vendors selling food of all kinds. Roasted lamb sandwiches, fresh orange juice, mint and herb vendors, olive vendors. The smell of fresh olives in the market is absolutely intoxicating. Let's do a quick Olive 101. These are olives that are in the rose or violet colored family. Traditionally, these are cooked with meat dishes. Green olives are traditionally cooked with chicken dishes. Black olives are dried and seasoned with olive oil. They're traditionally eaten just on their own. I can't stop eating these. These are incredible. The Moroccans love to pickle food. You can see all kinds of pickled vegetables back there, and of course, preserved salted lemons, a staple of Moroccan cooking.
Another popular dish here in the souk, snails. Simmered day in and day out in giant vats of broth.
These little gastropods are North Africa's finest. But the best, these are great. But the best part is the broth, which is traditionally sipped. It's loaded with lots of spices, especially turmeric. Very, very good for your coughs. Boy, these are good. Every part of the souk has a different theme, and now we're in Datesville. Everywhere you see dried fruit and dried nuts, and of course primarily dates. There are about 30 different varieties of dates that are grown in Morocco, and all of them are rated depending on size and sweetness. Oh, it's like honey. Come here.
One food item I've always been curious about is called kalia, which I found in one of the souk's back alleyways. It's a staple of the Moroccan diet. Meat that is salted, dried, cooked, then packed in layers of fat, which preserves whatever meat lies underneath. At least, that's the theory.
He's cutting away the meat with a giant scissor. That way he only takes the outside part, and spoilage is limited.
Kalia is a breakfast food in Morocco, so I grab a tub to go for tomorrow.
So we've got our kalia, mystery meat, salted and cooked in its own fat, preserved. And we've got our amalou, burnt almond paste with argan oil and honey. And essentially, this is going to be our breakfast. Mystery meat and amalou, the breakfast of champions.
Having packed my kalia safely away, I head back out into the center square of the Jama. The vendors and grills are smoking. My first stop is stall number 9, which is jam-packed with locals. Always a good sign in my book.
Now, all the vendors in the square serve different parts of the animal. And here you can get sheep's head, you can get beef liver or lung, and you can also get beef tongue. And that's what I'm here for.
I like mine sliced extra thin.
This is unforgettable. It's very sticky. It's very beefy. And let me tell you, these fresh tongues out here sitting in the sunshine, it's a little gamey as well.
As I walk through the stalls, another interesting melange of meats catches my eye.
Now, the prep cook is threading lamb kebabs, but I'm not interested in that. That's for the average eater. But over there in the little bowls, he has beef heart. And he's also got beef pancreas as well. This is going to be a Bizarre Foods buffet. Oh, he's got it stuffed with rice and currants. That's one of the things they do here. We won't know until we slice into it. This is going to be interesting. Merci. All right. Look at this. Let's try the heart. Oh. The texture on that is horrifying. A cow's heart is very big. So if you have squares from a solid piece of the muscle, it's very tough. But if you have a square that includes a piece of the ventricle, oh, is it sinewy. All right, here's the pancreas. Words fail me at a time like this. There's a crunchy aspect to the outside of the pancreas that I really can't explain. But from a flavor standpoint, it tastes just like blood sausage, which I like. So despite its gamey, mineral-y quality that all innards share in common, I quite like the taste.
Now, no one should eat pancreas alone, which is why I was more than delighted to make room for 2 Japanese tourists who recognized me from my travels through Asia.
You want to try something with me?
Yeah, why not?
Have you been to Morocco before?
No, this is first time.
Okay. So what you do is you take a piece of bread, and then you take one of the skewers, and this is Moroccan yakitori.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So you just take a little like this. So what do you think?
It's good.
It is good, isn't
Liver,
it?
right? Liver.
Yeah, it's, I don't know which
good.
piece you got. Some is liver, some is heart. But yes, it's very, very good.
I'm so great to see you. When I was so, oh my God.
You are the last person I expect to see here.
I'm the first person that you should expect to see here.
You're right.
Exactly, exactly.
As the sun goes down, the square lights up, and the revelry continues well into the night. I stop for one final treat, dessert if you will, an unusual twist on a classic cup of Moroccan tea.
It's different herbs and ginger and a little bit of sweetener because it's very strong. It's supposed to be a diuretic for the kidneys and it's supposed to warm up your whole body and, of course, do magical things for you in the arts of love. Oh, there's cinnamon in there. It's really good, though.
What a great way to wrap up this day. For tomorrow, I head to the desert for a change of scenery and a taste of the unimaginable.
Putrid meat with eggs. I love it.
A pile of Kalia, the Moroccan breakfast of champions, when Bizarre Foods continues. Marrakesh, Morocco is one of the world's most exotic vacation destinations. People come here for the scenery, the entertainment, and of course, the food.
Boy, if you consider eating a full contact sport, this is the stuff that makes a champion's season.
But there is so much more of Morocco to see and eat, so I decide to head out to the desert. I met up with my guide, a local named Mo.
Hi, how is it?
Oh, fabulous, fabulous. You ready?
Oh, yeah, fine, let's go.
The hot, bustling city quickly disappears as we begin our 6-hour journey over the high Atlas Mountains, the tallest range in North Africa. The road takes 365 twists and turns as we pass dozens of Berber villages on our way up and down the mountain. These indigenous tribes are the original inhabitants of North Africa and survived centuries of invasions and onslaughts by taking refuge in the mountains.
On our way to Ouarzazate, we stopped in this small little village. It's nothing more than a cluster of buildings, and all these people are from essentially the same tribe that lives up here in the hills.
It's market day, and the villagers shop for everyday supplies and produce. Moroccan fruits and vegetables are world-renowned for their quality and flavor.
One thing is true, whether it's the biggest supermarket in New York City or the smallest Berber countryside market, everyone fishes through the onion pile thinking they're going to find a better one. Why is that?
The similarities end, though, at the meat market, where goat is the featured special.
The hoofs are left intact so that the savvy shopper knows what it is that they are buying. And this is something that's absolutely fascinating. This is a male goat, and the very last cut will be sold with the testicles attached. People want to see that it's a male here because the female of the species takes too long to cook.
Now that we're back on the road, it's time to think about breakfast. The Kalia, that pile of mystery meat, has been sitting in the hot van since yesterday, so I'm sure it's nice and ripe. Mo knows of a beautiful Kasbah where we can stop and eat. These castles, or garrisons, are found throughout southern Morocco and were originally built to house tribal leaders and protect the Berber tribes from outside invaders.
I'm standing here at the entryway to the oasis in front of the ancient Kasbah at Ait Ben Haddou, the old fortress that has served as the background for many of Hollywood's most famous movies. In fact, the film Gladiator was shot right here, and whenever I'm in Ait Ben Haddou, all the locals refer to me by my gladiator nickname, Stomachus Maximus.
As well they should, judging by what I have planned for breakfast.
Here you go.
Kalia, mixed with eggs, is a popular breakfast dish here in Morocco. The mystery meat, What kind is anyone's guess, is salted, dried, and then preserved in its own fat. That's the yellow mushy stuff you see surrounding the meat.
Putrid meat with eggs. I love it.
I get myself prepared. Beautiful view, lots of sunshine, and a plate of who knows what.
The putrid and foul stench that accompanies the rotten, spoiled meat that we've mixed in here with our eggs this morning is doing two things simultaneously that I always thought were mutually exclusive. It's both scaring the pants off of me and attracting every fly within 500 kilometers of Ait Ben Haddou. Little egg, a little bit of whatever this is. It's a mini breakfast burrito. Oh my gosh. That is really strong. The smell through my nose is of rotted meat. There is no amount of visiting some of the most hellacious and foul-smelling places on earth, and trust me, I've been there, that matches up with getting your face up close and personal with a little khalia for breakfast. I think I can. Oh my God. Thank God there's some kind of chicken egg in there to sort of soften the blow. Oh my Lord. If you really want to understand the culture of a country, you try everything, you eat everything, and I just defer to the people that enjoy this dish, and I defend their right to eat khalia every single morning of their lives if they like. For me, it's definitely an acquired taste. But you got to give me some points. I tried it twice.
As my khalia fades into a bad aftertaste, I'm off to cross the mountains to Ouarzazate and the southern oasis.
A lot of the best food is separated by thousands of miles in the desert, so the best way to get around from joint to joint is by camel. Trust me on this, it's important. You have to have a huge skill set when you're a bizarre foods aficionado.
Now, you'd think that camel meat would be a popular dish in Morocco. But the truth of the matter is camels are quite expensive and worth much more as a means of transportation than as a meal.
Yeah, don't whoa.
Lucky for this guy, because after that khalia, even he's looking pretty tasty.
Well, after a 6-hour schlep through the Atlas Mountains, I finally reached the town of Ouarzazate.
Which, believe it or not, is home to the largest movie soundstage outside of Hollywood. Lawrence of Arabia was just one of the movies shot here because of the gorgeous desert landscapes. For me, though, a late lunch gets top billing.
Oh. Wow, this is spectacular. Look at this.
Nice palm trees.
Beautiful.
Tagine is the national dish of Morocco, and something the cooks at La Vallée restaurant are known for.
Oh, the tagine.
Super.
Oh my God.
That's so incredibly moist.
Yeah.
From roasting in that cylindrical pot.
It is.
And the lemons are so tart and salty. Unbelievable.
The secret is in the juice, you know?
Oh, always.
The name tagine describes both the food and the dish it's cooked in. It contains meat, in this case chicken, vegetables, nuts and spices, all cooked over an open fire.
Let's talk about the chicken for a second, too.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is not chicken from the neighborhood supermarket. This is chickens from out in the yard.
Yeah.
They've got a much stronger poultry flavor than most people are used to. That can be sort of shocking when most people taste it for the first time.
And if you're really going to do it up right, you end the meal with another local favorite, mint tea.
You know, in this country, When we drink mint tea, we say bisaha.
Bisaha.
Yeah, bisaha.
Bisaha.
Enjoy your tea, my friend.
When night falls in Ouarzazate, everybody heads into the town square.
People flood into the little snack shops that line this beautiful part of town. This is the best place to find some really unusual foods. They have sausages, roasted kidneys cooked a la plancha on the griddle.
Me, I'm going for a Moroccan mixed grill of sorts, which starts with the preparation of the kidneys.
Now look, kidneys might not be your thing, and kidneys on the street in the southern highlands of Morocco may not be your thing. But come on, grilled onions and tomatoes, does that make it sound good? Like my Uncle Vinny used to say back in New York, forget about it. C'est parfait. Oh, superbe. Ah. Beautiful. We'll start with a little bit of the merguez sausage. Now that we've gotten our toes in the shallow end of the pool, let's wade into the middle of the pool with a little bit of the kefta. Woo. The seasoning mixture for that is super spicy. Oh my gosh. Texturally, it's almost crunchuity. Now into the deep end of the pool, let's try some of these kidneys. Cheers. From an old lamb. A little gamey, a little irony, mineral, copper aftertaste. This has got some big flavors. This is not wimp food. Wow.
Hard to believe, but I think I've hit my personal limit for organ meat intake. I'm ready for a change of diet and scenery. When we come back, a trip to the shores of Morocco, where it's anyone's guess what they're pulling out of the ocean for me to eat.
I love fish heads, what can I say? They said it was going to be 125 degrees back in Marrakesh, so I hightailed it to the seashore, to the North Atlantic coast of Morocco, to Essaouira, the sardine capital of North Africa. You know what I always say, if you're looking for something funky to eat, head to the seashore.
Essaouira is known for two things: its insanely busy fishing port and its hippie past, inspiration to the likes of Jimi Hendrix and Cat Stevens. Today, locals and tourists flock to Essaouira for its miles of sandy beaches and the freshest fish on the coast.
Nothing says quality like fish being sold on the docks of a marketplace. All of these fish you're seeing right here just came off of these boats.
This mad scene has played out every day on these docks for centuries. It's actually a fish auction where local chefs, food stall owners, and the occasional TV show host scramble to outbid each other for the best of the day's catch.
Now, seafood and sunshine doesn't equate to many Americans, especially in terms of keeping the fish market ready, as we like to say. But if you look closely right here, you can see that the fish in these baskets and laid out here are sprinkled with fresh sea salt, comes out of the same waters, and that preserves the fish and retards bacteria. This guy is filleting a moray eel. Actually, it's a pregnant female. You can see the roe sac there. I think this fellow is telling him in Arabic, don't throw that away, that's the best part. Beautiful, look at this. Beautiful. I'll take the ray. Something tells me we're in for a real treat. Well, 6 fish, about 8 kilos. That should be enough for my lunch, don't you think?
And all for only 15 bucks. Unreal. My bag of fish firmly in hand, I check out this ancient walled city that once was a counterculture mecca and is now a popular tourist stop.
Now, of course, every side alley here on the wharf has all types of different things. Here there's fresh shrimp, sardines. This is a small turbo, filet of sole. That's sepia, little cuttlefish, and I think we'll have some of those grilled. Half kilo? There, merci. Over here are dozens of vendors whose sole purpose is to cook up the food that people buy down on the docks or in the other fish markets. It's why you come to Essaouira. Get it, buy it, they cook it, I eat it.
The cost of cooking and serving the fish I bought, plus all the side dishes, will only cost me about 30 dirhams, which is about $3 US. Lunch is served.
Merci. Boy, I'm really going to embarrass myself now because I think I may eat all 17 pounds of the fish I bought. These cuttlefish have not had their little internal skeleton system removed. So you can see here, if you just peel away, there's a hard carapace right here that's actually more like the exoskeleton of a bug than bones on a fish. But once you get past that, inside here are the legs, the roe sac, the head, and all of that beautiful meat. Now here's that stingray. Look at that. Look at how stringy the meat is. And it feels really rich and fatty. Texturally, that's not the most pleasant fish I've ever eaten before. Always try something twice. This is really mushy and kind of ammoniated. Now, what I love the most about these sardines is that because they're salted on the docks to retard the spoilage, they're already perfectly seasoned, and that salt and olive oil just makes such a nice crust on the outside of them, and all you have left is the part that most people leave behind. I love fish heads, what can I say?
You'd think I'd be filled up after that fish feast, but you must have me confused with your Uncle Morty. You know I can't pass up a chance to hit the local market.
Now, this is a real spice vendor. You can see up here, he's got all his different mixed spices. And here, you've got cures for all sorts of things that plague you. If you're stressed out, have a little pile of this. If you're having problems in the love department, perhaps a little bit of this dried galangal root might help you out. Now, this one here is used for growing hair if you have a problem with that. I can personally vouch that this one doesn't work so hot.
While this souk is only half the size of the souk in Marrakesh, it's easy to get lost.
Deeper and deeper, block after block, left turn, right turn. You just keep getting further inside this maze of a marketplace. I have no idea where I am. I'm completely lost, but it's all good.
I wander back out onto the beach and decide to head to the Eureka Valley, where I've got a date with some goat couscous.
It's not so much that you can taste the hay and straw in the flesh itself, but if you close your eyes, I think you can.
As a food culture, the North African country of Morocco is a blend of European, Mediterranean, and African influences, and they all come together here at the local market. One thing I find fascinating is the abundance of live animals. In other words, a fresh food source.
There's something you don't see every day in your average supermarket: peacock. Now, of course, in traditional markets, you buy your chickens, you buy your hens, you buy your bunnies, and they're dispatched in one room. The skin is singed over an open fire to make plucking a little easier, and then it's returned back to the same stall where they'll finish taking all of the little under feathers off as well, and then into the tagine it goes.
Tagine, a meat stew of sorts, is one national dish of Morocco. Couscous is the other. I've been invited to enjoy a combination of both with a family who lives in the Eureka Valley, a beautiful 1-hour drive outside of Marrakesh.
The Moroccans are a very hospitable people, and there's no greater honor than to be invited into a home to share a traditional family meal. Ah, bonjour, bonjour.
Preparations are in full swing when I arrive, so I hightail it into the kitchen. My host, Saida, has an amazing feast planned.
Here you can see the tagine with some oil and mixed spices getting ready for the lunch that we've been invited to share. And of course, the pièce de résistance, the main dish, fresh goat. What's going to happen here is they'll probably cut off the head and smoke or boil it. They'll use all the bones for stock. They'll probably make a meal out of the neck. I'm hoping they let me have those. She's washing the meat, which is extremely fresh to begin with. This is just fabulous. It's better than being in a 4-star kitchen in Paris, I can tell you that.
Food fresh from the source, now that's fine dining. And watching a pro at work is priceless.
Oh, nice. Look at that. She's been around a few kitchens in her day. I feel like I'm in very good hands with Saida.
This house, like those you see throughout Morocco, is made from mud and straw bricks dried in the sun, keeping it cool inside, even though the temperature outside is soaring well over 100 degrees.
The lifestyle here has remained unchanged for 1,000 years. No electricity, no indoor plumbing, and cooking implements that are as traditional as they get. When you need to crank up the heat a little bit, she uses that really small bellows. Look at that. The pan is a little tilted, so Saida grabs her trusty hot rock out of the burning coals and wedges it against the side of the pan to keep it even while it's over the fire. I can't believe I just saw that. Now, the couscous that we're eating is made by taking this grain and mixing it with water and actually rolling it in their hands.
Preparing this dish is a long process, usually taking about 3 to 4 hours. It's well worth the wait.
She's got a little bit of butter in there. That's the smen, the cultured butter that's made with curdled cream. Gives a unique, slightly tart dairy flavor and also keeps all those grains from clumping together. Look at that.
Saida's husband has been called away unexpectedly, and Moroccan custom does not allow her to sit down and join me for lunch. Sadly, I have to eat alone, or almost, but my disappointment is quickly forgotten.
This smells very, very aromatic. The overwhelming perfume there is of the saffron and of the vegetables. There's an unmistakable sweetness coming off of there. And I will say, if you've ever seen kids making sand balls at the seaside, then you'll know how to make lugma, which is the traditional way of rolling couscous. You just toss it in your hands, and then you use your thumb. Try some goat. Now, goat meat is absolutely delicious, and it's almost a barnyard sort of quality that it has from all of the feed that these animals consume. It's not so much that you can taste the hay and straw in the flesh itself, but if you close your eyes, I think you can. Hi. There you go. It's very important to befriend the family cat wherever you are. There you go.
It's been a wonderful afternoon. I've watched a pro at work, and as Saida prepares for her husband's return, I thank her in the universal language shared by chefs and grateful diners the world over.
Fabulous.
It's back to Marrakesh, where yet another Moroccan feast awaits. This time, dinner and a dance, and one last trip to the Jama El Fana.
Every Tuesday night after 6:30, Brains are the early bird special. Come on down, bring grandma.
Not only is Marrakesh known for its fabulous street food, but also its luxurious restaurants. For my dinner tonight, I've chosen Shahriman, named after one of the characters from 1001 Arabian Nights. I've heard that they have a killer pigeon pie, off the charts good, which I can't wait to try.
Like many cultures around the world, Moroccans love to celebrate with friends, family, and food. And a traditional bistilla, pigeon pie, or tagine dinner is one of those occasions, especially in a formal restaurant like this. So here are all the accompaniments to those traditional foods.
Please note, I'm not getting any special treatment here. Every meal ordered in a restaurant like this is accompanied with this huge fanfare of food. It's considered the salad course.
And as much as I adore all of these, the real jewel in the crown are these little bad boys right here. These are called briwats. They're little savory pastries, and they're filled with vegetables and chicken.
As I continue chatting away, I'm distracted by the increasingly loud sounds of a local music group that's headed straight for my table.
Quick! Hide the food. They're after my briwats.
Never mind. Turns out they're just after me. This is very typical of a Moroccan meal in a restaurant. Different groups of performers cycling past your table, enticing you to dance and generally act like I'm acting right now. It's dinner and a show. Having tipped the entire group enough to buy a few moments of silence, I'm finally ready for my dinner.
Oh, look at that. With dried fruit, almonds, and braised beef, what a spectacular tagine. Bistia, the pigeon pie, and for dessert, this wonderful fruit tart with dates and crushed nuts and drizzled with honey. This is spectacular. Now, one of the things that's unusual about this bistia is that it's made with pigeon in the traditional style. Many places, even Morocco, traditionally also serve it with chicken, but the pigeon makes it truly unusual and something that you very rarely see in any other country. All right, let's see how the bistia is. Really wonderful and not gamey at all. The pigeon is absolutely delightful, and those sweet spices are just killer.
Believe it or not, I've finally had it.
Oh, this feels like Thanksgiving at my grandmother's house. I need a nap.
I decide to call it a night. Every new day brings another culinary adventure. As my journey to Morocco winds down, I hightail it back to where it all began, the Jemaa El Fna, the city's largest public square.
Those are whirling dervishes.
I can't help myself. I spot a plate of poached brains and I go for one last taste.
Merci. These little bad boys here that have been sitting out all day in the hot sun are about as nasty a little snack as I can imagine. Nice corbouillon. Not only am I enjoying this and eating it, but every single guy out here is looking at me and smiling because it's a small club, the Professional Eaters Guild. We all know each other and we all say, yeah, calves brains, I salute you. You're for dinner. Yeah, it's very good. What an amazing culinary adventure I had in Morocco. From the seaside of Essaouira with those incredible grilled sardines to the high mountain desert of Ouarzazate and that kalia, the preserved mystery meat, to the back alleys of the souk in Marrakesh and the Jemaa El Fna, stuffed grilled pancreas, calves brains. It was incredible. Who knows what I'm going to be eating next? Haggis in Scotland, balut in the Philippines. Who knows? But remember, if it looks good, eat it. My favorite friends in the marketplace. I keep eating all their olives. Hello. Hello. I've been eating all day.